Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Intuitive Heart Healer podcast. My name is Valerie McLaughlin. I am your host for this wonderful podcast. And I am so grateful to have you all here today with me and always. So let's get started. Today we're going to talk about telepathy. And I do recommend that if you have not listened to episode 35, 36, and last week's episode on discernment and trust, I recommend you go back and listen to them before you move forward into learning about telepathy and my conversation that I'm going to have today with telepathy, because they all kind of add on to each other. Really, it's up to you whether you want to or not, but I feel that going back and listening to those will actually help you with these and a couple of the other podcasts that I may have going forward, because they're all kind of layering and building on up on each other. So totally up to you to go back and enjoy it, or maybe listen to this and go, oh, maybe I should. Then follow your own truth. That was all last week. Follow your truth, use your discernment, go with what you believe to be true. So this week we're going to talk about telepathy. I feel like it's some like space science. Growing up watching Star Trek, I feel it was like something there that they would like talk to each other, or what was the other one? I can't think of it. I think it was V or something, and I feel like, I remember listening to them and they kind of like talk to each other without even talking, like have this whole kind of language with each other. And to think now that not only am I talking about it, I also believe in it, and I have been seeing it and happening more and more and more and more. So the simplest definition of telepathy, really, when you go down to it, is a communication, a direct communication between minds, a direct communication between things without even speaking. And I say things because I've talked about this before, about talking to animals, and obviously animals don't speak like we speak, but you can have this communication with animals, which is a form of telepathy when you know what they want. So we're going to say it is a direct communication between things, between minds, however you want to look at it. And this communication can happen through our feelings. It's really all about frequency. It's all about energy. We communicate through energy. So it's tapping into that same frequency to have a communication with somebody or something without speaking. And I do this with my plants. Who are my plant lovers out there? Who have plants? Do you go to your plants and like just kind of be with them? Or look at them and kind of know how they feel? Are they happy? Are they sad? Do you like take your hands around them and kind of just like give them almost like a hug, but it's really you're giving them some energy. You're giving them your love through your hands, your energy. You ever look at a plant and go, oh, you know what? You're not so happy sitting right there. Let's move you. I just get this sense. So telepathy is a communication. It's a non-verbal form of communication. So yes, understanding your psychic senses and tapping into your psychic senses can help. And you can do this, have these transmissions can be done through thoughts, through objects, through just words. You could hear like the person almost in your head talking to you. or it can be come through as a feeling. Have you ever had the feeling that you needed to call somebody, but you didn't know why? So you called that person, and that person's like, wow, you've been on my mind. I know that happens to me all the time. I have a friend named Sandy, and I'll be going, man, I really should call Sandy. I gotta call her. We haven't talked in a while. I have to call her. And I find myself doing this for a couple days, and then all of a sudden the phone rings, and there is Sandy, because she heard my message. She might have not known exactly that it was me sending the message, but she heard the message. And I've done this with other friends where I send a text message or a call and be like, yeah, that's true, or yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, or I know that you're going through something, that's why I reached out. But it's a communication, and you can have this communication with somebody when you're in the same room. So imagine being able to communicate with your friend across from you at the dining room table without having to use your cell phone to text a message. You can do this. We all have this. It takes practice, and sometimes it comes natural. Twins do this very naturally because they are very connected. They have this special cord with them. So it's pretty natural with twins. And you may have noticed and seen this through twins, if you know twins, that this actually does happen. And I've done this with friends where, like, you just look at them and you answer the question without them even speaking, or they do it to you because you just have that bond and made that connection. But you can do this, and there's ways to practice this. And I'm drawing a complete blank of these flashcards, the name of these flashcards. And these flashcards, and you don't have to buy them, you actually can create your own and just put objects on it. So you take an object, a square, and it's an outline of a square, outline of a circle, outline of a triangle. You can then do some with colors. Then you can get into other things like the sun or a car, and keep it very basic. And then you can get more elaborate and do things more elaborate and sit here and practice with somebody, where you look at the object, you think about the object, and you go over the object in your head, and then the person who you are connected to will tell you what object it is, or describe the object to you. And you realize that sometimes in this, because if you listen to the psychic senses episode, we talked about not everybody seeing things the same way. So the person who's receiving it may see it as a box, or they may not see the color. So not everything may be as clear, but the more that you practice, the more that you can have this communication. And with people, we have to really clear up that communication, because we have so much that gets in our way, and electronics and everyday life, and you're thinking about this and you're thinking about that. So when you begin to come into your heart space more, or you allow yourself to breathe and relax and tap into your psychic senses, it comes easier for you than if you're trying to do these with a chaotic day. It's not really going to be very productive because you're all over the place. But you can also do this. We talked about plants, with your plants, communicating with them, asking them what they want. I do that with my plants because sometimes they want to be moved and things like that. And do it with objects too. I'll do that with my crystals. I'll do it with some sacred object, I have Oye, and sometimes she likes to be moved. She doesn't like to be in the same spot all the time. I have a mermaid that I communicate with through telepathy, a ceramic mermaid, and sometimes she wants to be moved. I've gone into people's houses, friends of mine, and say, your Buddha's not happy sitting there. Your Buddha will be more happy if you move the Buddha over here. And how do I do this? It's through telepathy, through connecting energetically and picking up on that frequency and communicating that frequency that I'm understanding to somebody else. But we all can do this. It's not my own superpower. We all have this. And you could do this with animals too. And you could practice it with your dog or your cat or whatever, and practice the communication. Just tuning into your dog. Is your dog really hungry, or is the dog just wants your attention? And you can tune in to the dog and ask the dog, how are you feeling? Ask your cat how you're feeling, and just begin to pick up on their energy and their communication with you. They communicate through their frequencies, through their thoughts, through their mind. They communicate through feelings just like we do. And it is this feeling, that it is this nonverbal communication. That's what telepathy is. And you can have the nonverbal communication, like I said, with everything, with objects. It's not just with the minds, because technically everything sort of has its own mind in a way, but we're not going to go there. But you can also use your thoughts. You ever hear about those things where people moved an object with their mind? It's because they communicate with the object. They use their minds to turn on an object. I remember reading Melchizedek, I want to say Donahue or Donovan. I don't remember his name, but his book on the seed of life, and I might be totally getting this off wrong, the name of the book, but he definitely goes by Melchizedek and then another name. And he was talking about this piece of equipment back in, it's been years now, maybe the 90s, that was developed to help clear pollution. And the equipment, there was no on and off switch. That they would sit there and bring themselves into calm and stillness through meditation, communicate with the equipment to have the equipment turn on. And some of you may be listening and using your discernment and say, this is not true, that this is false, and that is okay. And some of you may be sitting there with your discernment going, I absolutely believe this to be true. It is said and believed that this is how communication happened on Atlantis. This is how a lot of the great machines and computers and different things that were available on Atlantis before it went down, how they were all done was through telepathy, was through this communication with our minds. But really it's not. Remember, it's communication with our energy. We're communicating our energy, and we're taking our energy and we're directing our energy to a certain thing, a certain thought, towards a certain person, for that person or thing to hear it and to respond to what we are sending them. We do this so much we don't even realize it, because when you love somebody and you have that love, you're sending it to them. Now the person on the other end of that may not clearly understand it, because they have to unpack some stuff around them, to get clear on the energy that they're receiving. But this is how we communicate, not just with our words. We have nonverbal communication, and that nonverbal communication technically is telepathy, and it's all done with energy frequency, and taking our energy and directing it to somebody with a message, or to something with a message, and then receiving that energy and translating that energy into a thought that we will understand. And that's how it works. And if we take the time to get out of this chaotic life of us, of televisions and video games and cell phones and social medias, and I'm not talking about all the time, but if we take the time to meditate and connect with our psychic senses, we can develop this and have a better communication with each other and a better understanding of each other, because we have cleared the path to our heart and cleared our clutter that is causing us not to be able to receive the messages as clearly as we could. We need to be clear antennas to receive these messages. And some things are simple and easy for us to do, like, thinking about your friend over and over again and they call. That is really, you can do that without even knowing it. And there are things that are pretty easy, but when you begin to clear your energy, clear your clutter, clear your mind, and move into your heart space, this way of communication, this telepathic communication, becomes so much easier. And it's all about taking the energy, directing it to something with a message, whether it is turn on the lights, and allowing that to receive it and respond, and vice versa. Somebody sending you a message, you open yourself up and allow yourself to receive it and to understand what the message is. So it is going to take work and practice for you to be able to learn how to turn a light switch on. But I believe that you, if you took the time to do it, could do it. And so could I. But what do you really want to focus your energy on? What is it in the best interest for you, your highest good, to focus that energy on and learn how to use telepathy in your life? That would be the question that I would ask, and whether turning on a light switch is something that would work for you. But clearing the clutter, opening up your heart, will definitely help you in communicating with telepathy. And have fun with it. Have fun. Practice with a friend. Make a game night out of it. Seriously, make a game night out of it. And you don't have to be in the same room. That's the beauty of energy, right? We talked about this in energy healing and how I do distant energy healing, right? We've talked about this. You don't have to be in the same room. You can do this social distancing if you want. If you have a friend who's moved away that's across country, you can do it with them. You can get a group of friends together, and you all don't have to have the same cards or the same images. You can have your own. You can pick an oracle card deck and start doing that, or playing cards. That'll be a little challenging. You'd have to pick, depending on how evolved you guys are in this exercise, but you can have fun with it and make it fun and relax. That's the best thing to do, is to be playful and relax with it. And practice. And if some of your friends or family think you're crazy, then let them. Because the more you get comfortable with it, the easier it is for you. And I'm talking a lot from my experience, and it has to come with me being comfortable, not necessarily my friends or family. So, just a little introduction, a little fun podcast about telepathy and how you can communicate and what telepathy is and how you can practice it, what you could do with it. Really, it's endless. There's so many endless possibilities to it. But go out, practice, go out, do things to clear up your clutter, and have a beautiful day, everybody. If you have any questions for me about this topic or any topics or a topic you would like me to talk about on my podcast, feel free to email me at intuitivehearthealer@gmail.com. You can look me up on my website, intuitivehearthealer.com, and book a session with you, and I can help you energetically clear your clutter. Follow me on Instagram or TikTok at Intuitive Heart Healer. And until next time, go out, spread some love in this world today. And I am sending all my love to all of you. Till next time, bye bye for now.